Alright, I figured I would make a video talking about some of my favorite quotes from the Second Apocalypse series. This series is known for its deep philosophy, and also it's very dark and sinister, but mainly the philosophy. So I thought I'd go through some of my favorite quotes to highlight some of the more provocative and stimulating aspects of the series. So without further ado, let's get started. Sheets of muscle flexing beneath fire-shielding skin, many anchored and connected in inhuman ways, dilated eyes watching, studying from a knuckled face, steady pulse, tumid phallus hardening, a mouth made of gracile fingers moving, speaking. Strategies revised, alternatives revisited. The thing called Sarcellus grinned, his phallus now curved, like a bow against his belly. To be aroused by battle or competition, Kellis knew, occasioned great honor among the Nansur. The water dropped from his massive chest to the concave plane of his stomach and groin. A wave crashed about his white thighs, tugged along his long phallus. When the shrieking stopped, Eleazaris stared at the unconscious figure. Even chained and naked, his shriveled phallus prodding from the black pubic hair, the man seemed threatening. Then Sarcellus remembered the purpose of his fashioning. How could he forget what he was? His phallus hardened against his breeches. Killing the woman, the Dunyane's wife, had been such a moment. The mere recollection was enough to make his phallus arch against his breeches, gasp like a fish. With an inhumane dragon gasp, the thing pressed its bruised phallus up against her stomach and washed her sunlit breast with pungent black seed. She parted her hairless legs, paused so that all could see slick lines of blood running from her shining pudenda, and she grinned a proud, vicious grin, as though to say, "Yes! Witness the strength that is my womb, the great giver, the sun-bearer, the gluttonous phallus-eater!" And the Inkoroi king, Syl, armored in corpses flanked by his inhumane kinsmen, winged monstrosities with wicked limbs, pendulous phalli, and skulls grafted into skulls. Sorwheel glimpsed the curve of his erect phallus through the slick breeches, looked away to his sigil-wrapped face, only to be more appalled. His phallus hangs like a snake in the shadow of his thighs. He seemed godlike in the gloom, his hair falling in flaxen sheets about his shoulders, his limbs bound in veined muscle, his phallus laying long and violet in a haze of golden down. His phallus climbed into a grinning arc. Grinding its phallus against hoary bark, it would watch her, the girl who had saved them in the ancient old deeps. She could even see the curve of his phallus through his breeches. And yet, still they come, night after night, their dog phalluses prodding their dog bellies. Phallus greased and pendulous, wings scabrous and veined, folded into two horns, rising high above the thing's shoulders, window skin revealing sheaths of raw muscle and a compound head, one skull, a great oval, a second human fused into the jaws of the former. His phallus lay gray and inert. The creature themselves were emaciated, many raced, naked, limbs bulbous for joints, torsos fluted for ribs, phalluses arched into scalped abdomens, and crazed for it, gifted with bird-like quickness as though their bodies had consumed the contents of their bones. One Galioth even cut loose his armor and clothing as he ran, until he leapt, phallus curved against his belly across the desolation wearing naught but his boots. A greater hand enclosed his wrist, drew senseless fingers to the stubborn granite arch of his phallus. And his phallus hooked high across his strapped abdomen, a bow strung for war. It stood as erect as its phallus, towering over the aspect emperor. It grinned as if conceding its inhuman ardor, as if yielding its corporal desire. The semantic incandescence of his conjuring limned every surface, everything from mashing phalluses to the round of Mamara's body, in an eerie and indiscriminate blue light. The obscene multitudes rushed the slopes below, loped, shrieking, howling, falses bent and pinked across their sunken bellies, and the sons of men drew back their heads, their mouths pits in their beards, their looks shining in hopeless eyes that mirrored the flailing that is the final recourse of all blooded things. So, yeah, that is the totality of the quotes that I have accumulated. This is R. Scott Baker's The Second Apocalypse, some of the most stimulating and provocative quotes I could find. I hope you have a terrible day. I have now released both volumes of The Paths We Have Taken, which is the first arc in the Broken Reality. This is my grim, dark, epic horror fantasy series. It takes the political intrigue of A Song of Ice and Fire, the abrasive characterization of Abercrombie, the long-term storytelling of One Piece, and the philosophical horror of the Second Apocalypse to explore the human capacity for cruelty. Check it out if you are interested.